should be good.
All right. Shalom.
Shalom.
I want to give all praise and honor and glory to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, and Kakodash.
Double honors to the apostles, double honors to the elders of Great Millstone, and salutations to you brothers that are teaching the truth and sincerity across the four corners of the earth. Willie GMS Atlanta Camp coming at you with another edifying video through the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. And we're just going to get to some prophecies. I'm going to open up with Revelations chapter 19, verse 10. And brother, you can hop into that article right after the scripture.
Okay.
This is Revelation chapter 19, verse 10. I fell at his feet to worship him, and he said unto me, see thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahweh Shai. Worship Yahweh, for the testimony of Yahweh Shai is the spirit of prophecy. And that's what we're in the spirit of prophecy. Because in this article, it talks about a lot what's going on, man. And, you got the government shutdown. Really, they can declare national emergency, declare martial law during these times.
And to add to your point, the government shutdown is over funding for this so-called wall that Donald Trump wants to build since he's been in office. That was one of his things on his campaign trail, building that wall. And then now he's basically saying if he doesn't get funding for the wall, that he's gonna shut down the border completely. So in your mind, that should trigger martial law. If he wants to shut down the border completely, and he doesn't want the people from this country going over into Central America, that should trigger in your mind, hey, he's trying to shut down everything so we can't get out.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay.
You got it.
Okay. Let me just precept real quick. It's just what the brother I now was going into. You can go to it if you want. I know. This is Second Ezra chapter 15, verse. Should read verse 17. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and the men shall be afraid.
Yeah, that's what we're coming into, martial law. Before we got on camera, the brother that showed me this app where people were, just taking unsuspicious packages from these houses. People recorded thefts. There's a lot of chaos going out here in these streets. All right, there's a government shutdown, and Esau Edom, he wants to enact his martial law to shut everything down, to send people to these concentration camps and issue that mark of the beast, which is the RFID chip. Mm-hmm. It all makes sense, man. Why would he shut down the government? Why would he enact martial law to send you to a concentration camp to give you a spiritual mark? That doesn't make sense.
If I make one quick point, I'll get to the article. And then even the brother Anna and the Captain Kabash was going into, and that's why it's heavy, man, because Captain Kabash went into Revelation 19 chapter, going into the spirit of prophecy. It's the testimony of Yahweh Shai. And see, we're going to go into this article, which is, showing that the prophecies are speaking, but it's, and the prophecies are speaking, and these things are going to come to pass. But that's the beauty of having the understanding of the scriptures, because even just understanding the prophecies that are to come to pass, we have a chance of salvation. We have a chance of salvation through what? Through Yahweh Shai. So, it all, like the brothers going into, the points have been made, it all makes sense. It all makes sense to the men and those of the nation of Israel who, through the mercy and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, can take heed to this warning, so to speak. You ready, Kabash? All right, so this article is entitled, Government Shutdown or Not, the Police State Will Continue to Flourish, and it's from blacklistednews.com. There's also a link to the article in the description box if anyone wants to read along or go into the article at a later point in time. But once again, this is Government Shutdown or Not, the Police State Will Continue to Flourish. It was published December 26, 2018. The author is John W. Whitehead. All right, let me read this quick quote that he put in there. It says, this is a quote, "There is no more dangerous menace to civilization than a government of incompetence, corrupt, or vile men. That's from Ludwig von Mises. All right, so the article. The government has shut down again. At least parts of the government have temporarily shut down over President Trump's demand for a $5 billion border wall. Yet, while these political games dominate news headlines, send the stock market into a nosedive and put more than 800,000 federal employees at risk of having to work without pay, nothing about this government shutdown would diminish the immediate and very real dangers of the American police state with its roadside strip searches, government surveillance, biometric databases, citizens being treated like terrorists, imprisonments for criticizing the government, national ID cards, SWAT team raids, censorship, forcible blood draws and DNA extractions, private prisons, weaponized drones, red light cameras, tasers, active shooter drills, police misconduct, and government corruption.
And what just happened over here? Police got shot at a traffic stop.
Yeah.
Then they went inside a mental illness man home and shot him 76 times. They said because he fired back at him, but it's just a lot of killings going on, man. It's a lot of sedition among men, and they regarding their kings and princes. A lot of these regular citizens are not regarding the law.
Yeah, this is the 7th week of the Yellow Vest protest, man. And then even in California, you got these Edomites who are starting to do this Yellow Vest protest, man.
Mm-hmm.
So these protests are going to spread out, man. These people are fed up. They are overworked and underpaid. All right, especially these people in the government, man. Those probably be the main people that's going to revolt, man. They ain't getting no paycheck, man. They got to wait.
I got something real quick. We're already in the chapter. 2nd Ezra chapter 15. I'm going to start at verse 14. I'm going to read down to 16. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 15, verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. Because even like the brothers going into the Yellow Vest protests, in which the Yellow Vest protests over there in, was it France? Mm-hmm. I believe they already stated they plan on protesting going into 2019, and then that whole spirit, and that's why people don't understand. It's a spirit that the Most High Yahweh Shai is putting on the masses of these people to do these things. So that spirit that the Most High Yahweh Shai is putting on those people to do in Europe to protest, that spirit is just not going to, like the brother said, California. And that's why it says woe to the world, because that's one thing about the common American citizen is that they have more confidence in America, in the government of America, than anything else, really. Let me continue on. 2nd Ezra chapter 15, verse 15. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hand. This is what the captain was going into. 2nd Ezra chapter 15, verse 16. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. You want to go into it, bro?
And it is. And it's going in this article. That's why Esau is cracking down with this police state. Alex Jones been saying it for many years.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see how they cut him off? They about to cut out this internet too.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of truth is coming out about this government and the way that the society in other parts of the world is ran.
Mm-hmm.
Truly. Go ahead.
Well, that was the point.
Come.
I can continue if you want, but that was the main point I wanted
Yeah,
to go
you
into.
can get it back to the article.
Okay, kind.
Come on.
If I can make one quick point,
Come.
but just like because the captain he had mentioned earlier about the people not regarding the kings of princes, which that's why it triggered me to grab that precept, because even what this article is going into, this surveillance state, is it's against the people. It's not like that's why the people are going to revolt against this system, because they're going to finally realize that the system isn't designed to help keep them safe or to ensure prosperity, so to speak. It's designed to actually oppress you. And that's why the people are going to end up revolting against the kings and the princes and take the power into their own hand.
Well, that's why that's what Aaron Russo said about Nick Rockefeller.
Mm-hmm.
He said, why y'all doing this to the people? He said, we want to chip everybody. He said, why y'all want to chip everybody? He said, so we can have total control.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they doing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
are you good? I'm going to continue on the article. Shutdown or not, war will continue. Drone killings will continue. Surveillance will continue. Censorship and persecution of anyone who criticizes the government will continue. The government's efforts to label dissidents as extremists and terrorists will continue. Police shootings will continue. Highway robbery met out by government officials will continue. Corrupt government will continue. Profit-driven prisons will continue. And the militarization of the police will continue.
That's a lot of woe to the world right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of destruction right there, man. You got it.
Okay, Con. Indeed, take a look at the programs and policies that are not affected by a government shutdown, and you'll get a clearer sense of the government's priorities, which have little to do with serving taxpayers and everything to do with amassing money, power, and control. Not even NORAD, the North American Aerospace Defense Command that tracks whatever, not even NORAD will have its surveillance efforts curtail one iota. Surveillance will continue unabated. On any given day, whether you're walking through a store, driving your car, checking email, or talking to friends and family on the phone, you can be sure that some government agency, whether the NSA or some other entity, is listening in and tracking your behavior.
Meaning the surveillance is going to keep going hard. It's going to keep increasing. It's going to keep getting advanced technology. Like the brother just mentioned, the app that I got. They watching every single move out here. They got goddamn, well, wearing the clothes, they got RFID tags. So if you steal a clothing, you track. They can lock you up for that. That's what the word unabated means. Go ahead.
Okay.
Oh, you said surveillance gear from license plate readers and cell phone tracking.
Police have been outfitted with a litany of surveillance gear from license plate readers and cell phone tracking devices to biometric data recorders. Technology now makes it possible for the police to scan passerby in order to detect the contents of their pockets, purses, briefcases, etc. Full body scanners, which perform virtual strip searches of Americans traveling by plane, have gone mobile with roving police vans that peer into vehicles and buildings alike, including homes.
Why do they need all of this technology to catch people? When the war on drugs hasn't been ceased. You know, it hasn't been concluded with the prisoners or the prisoners the people that cause the drugs to flourish in this society to be put to death. It's a lot of homeless people out here. They want to do the government shutdown, just like this article is saying, but they don't for their monetary gain, but they don't want to help out the people that's really suffering. Esau is backwards, man. You see how he's staging up the event for martial law. All the Agenda 21, Rex 84 is coming into fruition, man. That's right. Issachar and the Northern Kingdom, they're in the Walmart still to this day. Go ahead, out.
I got a scripture right quick. It's in Daniel 12:4. But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. And that knowledge is Esau's technology. You know, people always in their phone. You know, they think that the new iPhone, was it 10 or 11, whatever is going on. Whatever. 10 or 11, whatever. You know, they're using this technology to basically track you, man. All right, where are you going? Where are you at? Because they know you can't leave the house without that phone, man. But it's getting to the point now where that's not gonna work, man. With all these police shootings going on, this government shutdown, it's gonna lead Esau's gonna have no other choice but to, hey man, we gotta use this tracking device. All right, first he's gonna use the biometric testing, and that's already popping over there in China, man. You know, over there in China, they have facial recognition, where if you go to the bathroom and you try to get a second sheet of paper towels to wipe your hand off, man, you gotta wait 9 minutes and rescan your face. All right, so Esau's watching everything, man.
Yeah, and these other nations are drinking that wine with Esau too. They want those face recognitions, the RFID chips. What's it called over there in the eastern part of the world?
NFC. Near field communication.
Yeah, but they all one with each other though. It's a global agenda, so to speak. I got a precept I can use.
I'm finishing up.
All right, this is 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Yeah, we're not ignorant of his devices. We're reading his devices now. You know, this is part of that beast system.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, up.
Okay. Continuing on the article. Coupled with the nation's growing network of real-time surveillance cameras and facial recognition software, soon there really will be nowhere to run and nowhere to hide.
Exactly. That's how they want it to be. Just like the movie you mentioned with Tom Cruise, Minority Report.
Minority Report.
You watch that whole movie, you're like, man, how can he escape? That was really a Mission Impossible movie. Because really though, that's what. If you watch the movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger, it's called Sixth Sense, and another movie too, Total Recall. It shows you the future. You know, they had those futuristic cars in the movies and stuff. Demolition Man, I think with Wesley Snipes. You know, it was different wave of things, and you really see that movie. You see that today. People are all on the face selfies and stuff like that.
Man.
Everybody's on the internet now. You can talk to somebody from here, to Japan or something like that.
Yeah, that was the point of these social media outlets like Snapchat. All you women out there that's always trying to put these dog faces on your face or Facebook. They already got your facial recognition.
Right.
So that's just another step of Esau's technology to take it even further, man.
And to add to that point before you get to that article too, what's the man name? Mark from Facebook.
Zuckerberg.
Yeah, he sells your data to the highest bidder on the market.
Yeah.
I think they had him in court for that. Like, where is all this
Yeah, he took him to
information
court.
going?
He was I think he went to Congress.
Yeah, he tried to swirl it around, but Congress, they really don't give a damn anyway.
I think it's all want their piece of the pie.
Right.
All this, see, this is a big slush pool of money, of the taxpayer dollars, slush pool of taxpayer dollars, and slush pool of the fiat currency created by the Federal Reserve. So they don't give a damn about the people. It's obvious, because if they gave a damn about the people, they wouldn't be trying to enact this so-called New World Order agenda.
Yep.
Really, they want to ask him the questions to get more insight of his company, so they can go with their lobbyists and their middlemen and cut these backdoor deals, so they can feed their belly.
Yep.
Because
Yep.
even with the shutdown was predicated by Donald Trump on the premise that he wants $5 billion to build a wall, right?
Right.
Bro, that's $5 billion that he has access to give out to all his buddies, because he's in real estate, to give out to his buddies so they can all get a piece of the big boy pie.
Well, the United States give Israel $7,000 per minute. Why don't he just send that money to build a wall, or create the jobs, and not build a wall so the people can come in and make a living of themselves? Because the other countries are giving them hell.
Or take that money from these other social welfare programs in which we go to work every day and they taking the money out of our check and just
the drug industry, the drug trafficking industry.
Esau's finished, man.
Esau finished.
Want me to continue on? Okay. I'm in the paragraph that's titled, "Government Spying Will Continue Unabated." Government shutdown or not, the National Security Agency, or the NSA, with its $10.8 billion Black Ops annual budget. 10.8 billion Black Ops. So that means they can just do anything they want in the dark.
Right.
$11 billion to do that. Will continue to spy on every person in the United States who uses a computer or phone using programs such as Prism and X-Key Score. By cracking the security of all major smartphones, including iPhone, Android, and BlackBerry devices, NSA agents harvest such information as contacts, text messages, and location data. And then there are the NSA agents who will continue to use and abuse their surveillance powers for personal means to spy on girlfriends, lovers, and first dates. I gotta speak on this, man. For two points. So for one, it says these NSA agents harvest such information as contacts, text messages, and location data. Because that's a couple things. It's like for the people who we're in contact with, some there's gonna be the same people who want to end up flipping on us and saying, "Well, we know you know so and so is into this and pull up videos, whatever, whatnot." And we know you've been talking to them, so
WhatsApp,
all that.
group chat, yep.
Because it's saying in this article that they have a way to bypass the encryption of all phones.
Well, they created the encryption.
Well, some encryptions aren't created by the governments per se. They might be created by private companies.
That's why they got to buy them out too.
They got to buy them out. They got to become a conglomerate, and they have a way to bypass it. You know, like the brother said, the iPhone 10 is 10 generations of iPhone. You telling me by now the government can't crack the iPhone encryption? Come on, man. And then two, I'm gonna say this real quick. In the last sentence, it says these agents use these programs and powers for personal means to spy on girlfriends, lovers, and first dates. I'm a witness to this, man. Because when I lived in D.C., I dealt with this one rib. She had a roommate, and her roommate, like, it was D.C., so she worked for one. I don't know what agency she worked for before, but she worked for one of these government agencies, and she would always have her camera covered up. You know what I'm saying? She tried to turn her phone off like that. She would say like, "Yeah, they're watching. Yeah, they watching." But she said it because she knew. And if I'm not mistaken, she actually did this too. She actually used their system to research a dude that she was messing with.
Damn, and it worked it too.
Damn.
Well, you can do that online too. You can buy people background checks.
You can. But this is like complete, because you can buy the information online, but it won't be the depths of what they have access to.
Right, exactly. And then on top of that too, they don't want to let you get back. Mm-hmm. They showed that on Enemy of State. That was made in what, 1997? Mm-hmm. Come on, how much more technology do they have?
God. Continuing on, it says global spying will continue unabated. The NSA's massive surveillance network, what the Washington Post refers to as a $500 billion espionage empire, will continue. That's $500 billion, man.
I got a precept right there. Don't give that to you. Micah chapter 2, verse 1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. Their beds go, it's synonymous with their rest, their heaven. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. And that's in the power of their hand. With this money that they got, they can throw around $500 billion just to do fuckery, man.
Yeah.
You got it.
Okay. Refers to a $500 billion espionage empire will continue to span the globe and target every person on the planet who uses a phone or a computer. The NSA's Echelon program intercepts and analyzes virtually every phone call, fax, and email message sent everywhere in the world. In addition to carrying out domestic surveillance on peaceful political groups, such as, I ain't worried about that. I'm gonna skip down. Egregious searches will continue unabated. It's just going into everything that's going to continue, you know, because Esau's trying to enact his authority in the world, man.
And it goes to show the government is not really shutting down nothing.
Right.
They only shut down and throw a tantrum because they want to get things their way, you know. Mm-hmm. But they want to have it in the public eye like it's hard to get up $5 billion.
Right.
Or they really want to put more hell on the taxpayers, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's what Trump really want to do.
Yeah, you're right, bro. Because, all this is still going. It's still happening.
You're right.
it's really, even that, they putting the squeeze on taxpayers and they put a squeeze on the employees. Because a lot of these systems, they're already developed to the point that they can really run themselves. Mm-hmm. But it's like, if they fire 800,000 people, that's it. They got to keep giving them this paycheck, because otherwise the whole economy is going to just implode. That's a lot of people, man. 800,000 federal employees. That's almost 1 million people, man.
And federal employees. That was prophesied by the Apostle Tahar too.
What's that?
A lot of these people gonna lose their government jobs.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, kind. Continue on. I'm probably start skipping around too for the sake of time. It says egregious searches will continue unabated. Under the pretext of protecting the nation's infrastructure, roads, mass transit systems, water and power supplies, telecommunication systems, and so on, against criminal and terroristic attacks, Transportation Security Administration, or TSA, task force comprised of federal air marshals, surface transportation security inspectors, transportation security inspectors, so on and so forth, will continue to do random security sweeps of nexuses of transportation, including ports, railway and bus stations, airports, ferries, and subways. Sweep tactics include the use of X-ray technology, pat downs, and drug sniffing dogs, among other things. I'm gonna skip down. Skip that paragraph. Militarized policing will continue unabated. Thanks to federal grant programs allowing the Pentagon to transfer surplus military supplies and weapons to local law enforcement agencies without charge, police forces will continue to be transformed from peace officers into heavily armed extensions of the military, complete with jackboots, helmets, shields, batons, pepper spray, stun guns, assault rifles, body armor, miniature tanks, and weaponized drones. They go into Esau's blessing from Genesis, the blessing to inherit the fatness of the earth through the sword.
Yep. Yep.
These are all weapons and tools and instruments of the sword, man. Having been given the green light to probe, poke, pinch, taser, search, seize, strip, and generally manhandle anyone they see fit in almost any circumstance, all with the general blessing of the courts, American law enforcement officials, no longer mere servants of the people. They were never servants of the people.
Right.
They were servants of the elites, so to speak.
Yes.
They never served the nation of Israel. They never served so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, and they never even served the confusion of faces.
Yep.
Because you had a lot of confusion of faces during the early 20th century who came over here, and there was a spiritual divide between Esau and these confusion of faces.
And they knew
They didn't know the depths of it, like Brother said. They knew that it was something it was a spiritual thing. You know what I'm saying? And they were hanging Sicilians, so-called Italians, and certain people that came from the poor areas of Europe once America was more established, so to speak, in 20th century.
Yeah.
So it didn't even serve the police. They didn't serve our people, man. It was always an instrument. Even going back to the slave catchers, it was always the police during civil rights and Jim Crow. The police to this day shooting so-called Negro, Latino, and Native Americans a confusion in the face to this day, man.
Yep. It's a spiritual warfare.
Yeah, I got that scripture.
Come on.
This is Psalms 55:20. He hath put forth his hands he hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant. So all that constitution, as the brother was mentioning, all these body searches and body cavity searches and drug sniffing dogs and police with the body armor, man, that constitution is gonna be thrown out the window, man. That constitution that you so-called white people love so much and that you bear arms against, man, that's gonna be thrown out the window when martial law in this police state is gonna be enacted, man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go to verse 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. So all that God bless America and this land is our land, man, that's just prepping you people up to throw you into a concentration camp, man. All this propaganda, all this this love for America, man. All right, Esau's just throwing that in your face, and then sooner or later, even you so-called white people are going to start to see that this man is the devil, man.
And you seen what they did, this government shutdown around the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
Just like they did that the dollar, they brought down the dollar by removing the gold standard from backing the dollar in 1913. That meeting in Jekyll Island, J.P. Morgan, Rockefeller, Rothschild, and other bankers too. They did it around the Christmas holiday. They always do this around the holidays. The NDAA with Obama
Yeah.
in 2012. Well, the beginning of 2012.
Mm-hmm.
I think right around when Whitney Houston died. They signed NDAA, martial law, executive orders.
Because it's spiritual that you even said that, because, you know, we are rehearsing the righteous acts and, you know, seeking our ancient ways and customs, you know, beginning again to observe our high holy days. But it ain't no coincidence that Esau Edom does these things around certain time periods consistently, because there's energies behind certain times of the year for them on the left hand side.
Well, yeah, this is the when you had the winter solstice that came around the December 22nd, and then you had what people call Christmas Eve is really called Demon Rebels Day, which they do a lot of abductions and sacrifices. So this is the spirit of Satan going around, and it's programmed into Esau Edom, the so-called white man, to fulfill all this legislation while people are, you know, drinking and having a good time and reveling and partying like in the days of Noah, man. Esau is, you best believe Esau is behind closed doors right now, okay, while people getting ready for New Year's Eve,
Yep.
citing some type of legislation to further enslave you, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I'm gonna skip down. No, I'm gonna go continue on. It's a long ass sentence though. America's law enforcement officials, no longer mere servants of the people entrusted with keeping the peace, will continue to keep the masses corralled, under control, and treated like suspects and enemies rather than citizens. I'm gonna skip that.
Let you walk down the street. The police gonna ask for your ID because you look like a suspect.
Mm-hmm.
But they've been doing it to us for many years, any damn way.
Yeah. But when it hits you so-called white people, you're gonna be like, oh my
Oh
God.
yeah, now it's the issue.
Now it's the issue. Now you want to fight for your rights.
Man, I'm gonna read this whole article through, man.
It's good,
It's a
man.
heavy article, man.
Yeah, man.
You know, SWAT team raids will continue unabated, with more than 80,000 SWAT team raids carried out every year.
Damn.
With more than 80,000 SWAT team raids carried out every year. Man, somebody do the math on that, man. What's 80,000 divided by 365?
That's a lot.
That's a lot, bro.
That's a lot.
Divided
Divided by
by
365. 219 raids every day.
Damn.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah. And they really hitting up them crackers, them crackervilles, the rednecks, because they want to take them guns away.
Mm-hmm.
You
God.
got it out.
God. With more than 80,000 SWAT team raids carried out every year on unsuspecting Americans for relatively routine police matters, and federal agencies laying claim to their own law enforcement divisions, the incidence of botched raids and related casualties will continue to rise. Nationwide, SWAT teams will continue to be employed to address an astonishingly trivial array of criminal activity or mere community nuisances, including angry dogs, domestic disputes. Man, we need to call it SWAT on that nigga.
Yo, man, like, hey, that's why Jake shot that dog on Kellen Road. Cause them dogs, they come out the car and they just straight attack. Which some Jake deserve it, but
Yeah.
you know, it happened to innocent people too.
God. SWAT teams will continue to be employed to address an astonishingly trivial array of criminal activity or mere community nuisances, including angry dogs, domestic disputes, improper paperwork filed by an orchard farmer, and misdemeanor marijuana possession. Over-criminalization will continue unabated. The government bureaucracy will continue to churn out laws, statutes, codes, and regulations that reinforce its powers and value systems and those of the police state and its corporate allies, rendering the rest of us petty criminals. Yeah, these corporations be the big criminals, man. You know, but here it is, Esau, you know, because the power's in his
It's
hand.
called criminal justice.
Con. Yeah.
It's justice for criminals. That's what it is.
God.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But yeah, you know, but these companies and corporations break laws, big boy laws, major legislation, day in and day out, and they get rewarded with tax breaks or might get a slap on the wrist with a minuscule fine, but let a person walk down the street and a nickel bag of weed fall in his pocket, man, all hell gonna break loose, man. Right. But you know what I'm saying? That just goes to show you the unbalance, man. The unbalance and the unrighteousness that occurs in America and across the world, man. Yep. You got a precept?
Let me see. Yeah, I got one. This is Psalm 62:4. They only consult to cast him down from his excellency. They delight in lies. They bless with their mouth, but they curse inwardly. Salah. You know, that's Esau's lies, man. You know, going back into these raids and just trying to watch everybody, man. But he's the biggest one that needs to be watched, man. And we're watching him by bringing out these epistles, man.
Sure.
All right, casting down these strongholds. We're watching him as much as he's watching us. Trying to bring surveillance on us and trying to bring up dirt on everybody, man. We're watching him, man. We're watching him through these videos and breaking down his queendom, man. And this is all leading, to that matchup between Jacob and Esau once again, man. Because that's all it comes down to: Jacob versus Esau, man. The elect versus the elites, man.
Yeah, you can tell this is the last kingdom too, because that's a lot of spiritual wickedness going on, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's manifesting through the physical, which is Esau, the so-called white man. He wants to lock, stock, and barrel everything. He already got us as stocks. We're live stocks for him on the stock market through our birth certificate. He got us on lock, man. We need a savior, man. And this is our last captivity, and this nakedness is being shown. Go ahead.
I got some. You got some more?
No.
I got some. It's three verses. This is Isaiah 10. I'm starting at verse 1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and their right grievousness which they have prescribed, to turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless. Because all these unrighteous decrees, it just further separates our people from our power, our Heavenly Father, the Most High Yahweh, and it makes those that are blind to the truth and the spirit that kind of brought out in Revelations the 19th chapter, to the spirit and power of our Messiah, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, but at the same time, I'm gonna continue on. This is the point I wanted to hit too. This is Isaiah 10:3. And what will ye do in the day of visitation, and in the desolation which shall come from afar? To whom will ye flee for help, and where will you leave your glory? Because here it is, Esau is so damn proud, man, that he think he gonna wrap this whole agenda up nice and tight with a pretty little pink ribbon on it. Esau, a pink ribbon on it. But at the end of the day, this is the question. What will you do in the day of visitation? What are you gonna do when the Lord, the Messiah, Yahweh Shah, come back and visit this place? It's gonna really be shown how base you are, man. Because you're not gonna just say, you know what, hey, here it is, all these chariots, fathership, the Most High Yahweh Shah just fucking shit up. You know what I'm saying? All this going on, Esau gonna be like, you know what? Salakia, I was wrong. Esau gonna be so proud. He gonna try to fight the Lord and the angels and the chariots in the heavens, man.
Second Ezra 13.
Esau's an idiot, man.
all that that's written in that article is showing his power, his might.
Yeah.
But all this work, all these think tanks, all the long nights and drafting this shit up, all this is for nothing, man.
Yeah.
You doing all this to get your ass kicked at the end of the day, man.
Lord is hardening his heart.
Damn.
Just like he did Pharaoh. Pharaoh did the exact same thing.
I'm continue on. The government bureaucracy will continue to churn out laws, statutes, codes, and regulations that reinforce its powers and value systems and those of the police state and its corporate allies, rendering the rest of us petty criminals. The average American now unknowingly commits 3 felonies a day.
Damn.
The average American now unknowingly commits 3 felonies a day.
And that's going back to all those damn legislations. He got 1,000-something damn laws. He got 1,000,000 laws, so to speak. And he write 1,000 of them each day. How the hell everybody is gonna, do right by the laws and statutes that he writes out to conduct the land in harmony?
Right.
Which all those laws and legislations are really against us. They're really for them. Esau is a wicked devil, man.
I got something on that.
Go ahead.
This is Daniel 8:25. All right, and through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand. And that goes into Esau's policy through his paperwork, man. When the article said that people commit 3 felonies a day, he's just throwing stuff in there, man. When these people go to when these representatives go to Congress and whatnot, man, they're just throwing stuff in there to trap people up, man. But Esau's gonna get trapped up, sooner or later, man. But it goes to show you that he's a devil, man. He's a deceiver, man.
Go to one of these courthouses in each county. You gonna see long lines of people pleading guilty to something. If you get in Georgia, if you get the same misdemeanor 3 times, you are committed. You become a felon. That law was stamped years ago, recently. People are like committing 3 felonies a day. This society is a wrap, man.
But he gives you the impression that this land is a law-abiding land and it's free for everybody, man. People in these other countries starting to realize, hey, we're not going to the United States no more, man. The only people that are trying to do that is Jake, man. These so-called Mexicans and Guatemalans, man. And, they're gonna get caught up and get the chip, man. But people are starting to, you start to look at comments from like RT News and what's the other one, man? Press TV. They're like, man, to hell with this white man, all right? Because people are starting to see that this man is the devil and he's not to be trustworthy, man. Where the scriptures say the nations have drunk in the cup. Now they're mad. Going back to, I think it's Jeremiah 50 or 51. They're drunken of the cup. Now the nations are mad. These people around the world are mad at the United States, man. But this country is not free, and they're going to further, impression people, man, by ultimately throwing you into a concentration camp.
Yeah.
It's going to happen too, man. It's going to happen too, man. Man, Esau he's going to open up them abandoned retail stores and have his guards and troops surround the premises, and you're going to be in there.
Yeah, like over there off of over here off of Wesley Chapel by that Kroger.
Or the old,
the one that got shot, the old Walmart.
The old Walmart,
you like brothers, man. Y'all gotta start looking at these things, man.
Yeah.
These abandoned shopping buildings, man, because that thing been there for a minute, man.
Publix up the street.
Yeah, Publix 4th Street, the one off of it's Harrison, man. That's close.
That's right there.
That's right up the street, man.
and if I can say too, then you about to have all these other stores get closed. Like once the grinding ceases, and the economy slowing down and people begin to realize that, damn, man, something ain't right, man.
Yeah.
You're gonna have more and more of these retail locations open. That's why a lot of times these big conglomerates, like the brother said, the Walmarts, they'll buy these stores or these locations. They never sell them. They hang on to them. You know what I'm saying? Like now, because the peak of the American economy has already happened, man. All right.
Yeah.
So the hope was, even back then, the mindset is, all right, buy a location now. Even if you move or you build a whole new location, somebody's gonna want that same property later, so you can sell it and get a profit. Now I said, man, fuck it, man. Just hang on to it, man.
Right.
Because those are going to be the concentration camps of the future, man.
Yeah. FEMA is really taking. Well, that's an executive order.
Mm-hmm.
They can seize everything.
Anything.
Yep. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Yeah, the average American now unknowingly commits 3 felonies a day thanks to this overabundance of vague laws that render otherwise innocent activity illegal. Consequently, small farmers who dare to make unpasteurized goat cheese and share it with members of their community will continue to have their farms raided.
And that's to them farmers too that have cure or physicians that have cures for diseases. They either buy them out or they raid them, kill them. Ultimately,
Kind. Continuing on. Man, my computer's fucking funny, man. I'm getting it. All right. The shadow government, aka the deep state, aka the police state, aka the military industrial complex, aka the surveillance state, will continue unabated. But they're all connected.
yep.
They're all different arms and branches. Just like what's that, John the 15th chapter? Where that's why that's how you know it's a battle between left hand and right hand. Because even in John the 15th chapter, Yahushua go into how he's the vine, and there's branches, there's gonna be also fruit. Same thing with these agencies and these governments, man. These are just
this body, Esau body.
Yeah.
Jacob and Esau.
Yeah. Go back to Jacob and Esau, man.
These are the people that's really running the world, man.
Because you know what it is too, if I can add to your point? Because it's really also a battle of houses too. The house of Esau versus the house of Jacob. You know what I'm saying? That's why even like you got the elites of Esau Edom, which you had to have, thousands or hundreds and thousands of these Edomites to actually have the power to encapsulate this kingdom and have the authority today. In which when Yahushua come back, all the houses of Jacob is gonna need Yahushua, his men, and the angels, and it's to the kingdom of heaven, man. You know what I'm saying? Esau's finished, man.
Yeah, Esau is.
This corporatized, militarized, entrenched bureaucracy that is fully operational and staffed by unelected officials will continue to call shots in Washington, D.C., no matter who sits in the White House or who controls Congress. By government, I'm not referring to the highly partisan two-party bureaucracy of the Republicans and Democrats. Rather, I'm referring to the government with a capital G, the entrenched deep state that is unaffected by elections, unaltered by populist movements, and has set itself beyond the reach of the law.
Why are those people there? Like, what are their purpose? You gotta ask yourself, what are their purpose? They're unelected officials, and they call the shots. So you man like Ron Paul, senator, and he be getting on the screen sometimes and talking about Americans need to rise up. America is not going to rise up.
Yeah, these people already
They dead.
finished from the food and the air and the water and the TV and the distractions, man. These people aren't gonna rise up. All these truthers, all these truthers, man, they always give you, people need to rise up.
Right.
Man, these people are so docile, man. They don't know if they're coming or going, man.
And then if it wasn't for YouTube, where would you truth seekers be at? They about to shut this internet down. Then what?
Then what y'all gonna do? Yeah.
These issues are not going away. They are the backbone of an increasingly aggressive authoritarian government formed by an unholy alliance between the mega corporations with little concern for the Constitution and elected officials and bureaucrats incapable or unwilling to represent the best interests of their constituents. When it comes right down to it, no matter how long government shutdown lasts, it will remain business as usual in terms of the government's unceasing pursuit of greater powers and control. So where do we go from here? If public opposition outright challenges and the government shutdown don't stop or even slow down the police state, what's to be done? Do what you must do. Now we can just cut that because that's all. I go into some carnality things, man. Because we're gonna do something. We're gonna rely on the spirit of power, Yahweh Shem, Yahweh Shai, man.
They talking about be prep yourself.
You know what I'm
You
saying?
know, when things started to manifest themselves, with martial law and stuff like that. Really before shit hit the fan, really.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not to you, Jake, because you can't even prepare to go to work on time, or have dinner ready. You know, it's a mind game. This article is particularly talking to you so-called crackers.
I got scripture.
But
It says Psalms 10:2. The wicked in his pride doth persecute the poor. Let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined. Verse 3. For the wicked boasteth of his heart's desire, and blesseth the covetous, whom the Lord abhorreth. I'm gonna go down to 5. The wicked through the pride of his countenance will not seek after the Most High. The Most High is not in all his thoughts. And verse 5, his ways are always grievous, thy judgments are far above out of sight. As for all his enemies, he puffeth at them. So, man, that perfectly goes into Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. That cuts that Esau is Japheth, and I mean it's pretty evident nowadays, man. Japheth and the Arabs ain't doing this, man.
their faces not on the news, speaking to everybody, putting sanctions on everybody, really running the world.
Yeah.
You look at the face of the FBI, the founders of CIA. Those are so-called white men. The United States is ran by so-called white men that are really making these laws and police state happen around the world. It's evident, man.
It's that simple, man.
Yeah.
You know, you can't say it much better. You can't say it much better than what the brother just said, man. It's
It's not Japheth. It's not Elam.
Yeah.
It's not
Like, damn,
Moab.
man.
It's not Ammon.
Process of elimination.
It ain't us.
Hey, but you know what? That's that GMO food, baby.
Yes.
You know, a lot of you jakes out there too that's been living longer than us, like 5, 6 decades, 7 decades on this earth. You still don't know who your enemy is.
Yeah.
Man, death to you, man.
Yeah.
It says the wicked in his pride doth persecute the poor, man. I mean, the poor is you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. And you the ones that still want to be here. You the people in Egypt that said they desire the melons and the leeks and the carrots.
Onions.
Yeah, the onions of Egypt, man. These are the same people, but this man is a far greater pharaoh, man. Because man, he's making it harder than what it was in ancient Egypt, man.
Yeah.
And with these laws, to basically, man, you can't even so-called jaywalk nowadays, man. You might be in a detention camp, you know, with these laws, man. This man gotta go, man.
Man, Esau's so wicked, man. He don't want you thinking about jaywalking.
Yeah.
Esau would have it to where if you think about jaywalking, you're gonna have a punishment, man.
I got a precept.
Okay.
It's like Yakin. This is our 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 1. But of the times and the seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. For yourself know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. How do we know the Lord is coming as a thief in the night? By measuring the time diligently within itself, according to 2 Ezra chapter 9, verse 1. But measuring the times, by reading this article, this is what's happening right now. You look on the news or other articles, just Google it, man. These are the times, December the 26th, 2018. We're measuring the time diligently. Government shutdown. Why are they doing the government shutdown? Well, they want the wall built up. Then too, a lot of stuff is still continuing. Surveillance, heavy surveillance.
These 5G towers going up.
Yep.
The cameras on with the power lines.
Summit meetings.
It's all there, man.
It's all there, yeah. And then, you know, they still got that plan, too, to depopulate the earth. That's happening. Whether you be poisoned by food or the chemtrails or be put in prison for extended long periods of time. They throwing the book at Jake, too.
Yeah.
100 and some years. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. Jake should die. You know, instead of just being in prison, they do horrific crimes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But majority of the time, man, you know, Jake just got bailed out. I think it was an Ephraimite. They put him in jail for 15 years, and they rewarded him, I think, $1 million. You know, because he was innocent of the crime. But they wait that long. You know, what's $1 million to a man that lost 15 years of his life for no reason?
Yeah.
Then they're gonna take his money. They're gonna tax him on it.
Yeah, they gonna tax him on the money they gonna get.
We still in slavery over here. But the Lord is coming like a thief in the night with the martial law troops. Verse 3, for when they should say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they should not escape. So all these people running to the vote polls, saying this person can make this situation better for people, bring more jobs in. Yo, it's over with, man.
Yeah.
People get to fighting on the job. People die at the job. This job ain't bringing enough money. You can't make ends meet. You got to work 2 or 3 jobs. This world is over with, man. And that's another way the Lord's going to come as a thief in the night. Seizing these jobs. Then what? People are going to go out and rob. Then Esau is going to happily bring more force down with his troops to set things in order out of chaos. That's what he got on the $1 bill. All those symbols on the $1 bill is not there for no reason. This society is set up by the devil, and the devil is going to bring it down. But through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shai, he's going to bring it down for our sakes. So we can get the hell up out of this hellhole, Babylon the Great.
Come.
Yeah, that's all I got.
That's all I got.
Come. All right, come. So with that, we want to give all praise and glory and honor to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Kakadash.
Kwam the elect. Shalom.
Shalom.